How can an app sell wireless earbuds for $3 while you're still paying $150 for Apple's? No, it's not a scam. It's a blueprint. A new kind of retail engine that turns your clicks into assembly line instructions, then ships the result straight from a factory half a world away. Today, we're pulling apart TEMU'S machine, how Shop Like a Billionaire went from obscure app to global force, why it's so cheap, and the hidden costs you're not seeing. Why is it so cheap? The surface answer. TEMU exploded in downloads worldwide and routinely topped US shopping charts, often outpacing Amazon on pure installs. The surface answer sounds simple. It's D2C. Direct from factories to you, cutting distributors, brand markups, and US warehousing out of the price. Fewer hands touch the box, fewer mouths to feed. But cheap isn't the mystery. Precision is. Why does TEMU seem to have exactly the things people will impulse buy today, at prices just past your resistance point? Removing middlemen is only the opening act. The real trick sits in the data. The next-gen manufacturing play, from push to pull. Think of old-school retail like a chef baking 1,000 cakes in the morning and praying someone buys them. That's the push model. TEMU and its fast fashion rival Shein flips that. Watch what people want in real time, then make only that. That's a pull model. Shein's on-demand system is the clearest example. Launch micro batches of 100 to 200 items, see what sells, then scale winners and kill losers fast. That minimizes inventory risk and waste, and it turns browsing behavior into a live production schedule. TEMU isn't a fashion house, it's a marketplace, but the logic is similar. The app harvests clickstream data, searches, scrolls, dwell time, and feeds demand signals to sellers and partner factories. Analysts have documented TEMU's aggressive personalization, multi-objective optimization, engagement and conversion, and heavy use of test and scale. Your taps aren't just interest, they're inputs. In this system, data is the product that tells the supply base what to make next, in what color and how many. The strategic trade-off, price versus speed. So why the long ship times? Because the savings are real when you skip US warehousing, bulk inventory, and multiple domestic handoffs. For years, TEMU and similar platforms relied on a US import rule called de minimis. Packages under $800 entered with minimal duties and paperwork, making slow cross-border shipping cheap enough to pass massive savings back to you. In other words, accept a 7 to 12 day wait, and you keep $20 in your pocket. But here's the plot twist. As of late August 2025, the US ended that long-standing de minimis exemption, upending the math for low-cost cross-border shipments like TEMU'S. Expect more tariffs, more friction, and potentially higher prices or new logistics workarounds. TEMU has already whipsawed its logistics playbook around changing rules, toggling direct shipments, stocking forward warehouses, and experimenting with regional inventory to keep costs down despite policy shocks. We say we want Prime fast, but a huge share of shoppers will trade speed for a deal. TEMU leans hard into that preference. Delay gratification, score the savings. The growth engine. Gamification plus subsidies. Open the app and it doesn't feel like shopping. It feels like a game. Spin wheels for coupons, countdowns for free shipping, lightning deals that reset your sense of what a normal price is. This isn't accidental. TEMU fuses game mechanics with AI-driven personalization to increase session time and push micro-conversions. Studies on TEMU'S gamification find it reliably nudges impulse buys and repeat engagement. Then add fuel. TEMU spends aggressively on marketing and subsidies, famously blanketing the Super Bowl with multiple primetime spots and tens of millions in giveaways to ignite the funnel. That advertising surge spiked downloads and DAUs, keeping TEMU at or near the top of US app charts. Why it works together. Gamification keeps you in the app, subsidies knock prices below your pain threshold, and personalization ensures you see the thing you can't resist. The result, remarkably high conversion on remarkably low AOV, average order value. The pipeline, from a spin in Ohio to a machine in Guangzhou. Let's connect the dots end to end. 1. You open the app, spin a wheel, browse a category, and pause on a $6 gadget. 2. The system logs intent signals, category interest, price sensitivity, coupon responsiveness, scroll order. 3. Those signals update demand forecasts and ranking models. What to push to whom, at what price. 4. Sellers and factories watch the data in near real time. They test small lots, then scale winners. 5. Logistics routes are picked to balance subsidy budgets, tariff exposure, and delivery time targets. This conveyor belt of behavior, forecast, production, route is why Temu can sell a gadget for the price of a latte. The savings are not just from skipping the mall. They come from precision. Make only what engagement predicts will sell, route it the cheapest viable way, and nudge the buyer at the perfect moment. The hidden costs, data and privacy. With any data-driven machine, the biggest asset is also the biggest risk. Temu's parent, PDD Holdings, faced scrutiny after Google suspended versions of its China app Pinduoduo for malware issues in 2023. Since then, Temu itself has faced an escalating wave of US state lawsuits and warnings from lawmakers about data practices. Temu denies wrongdoing, but the scrutiny keeps rising, and the concerns echo debates around TikTok: what's collected, where it's stored, and who can access it, safety, and platform governance. In the EU, Temu was designated a very large online platform under the Digital Services Act, putting it under stricter obligations to police illegal or unsafe goods. And in 2025, the European Commission preliminarily found it in breach of certain DSA duties related to illegal products. That means more compliance costs and potential fines if issues persist. Labor and sourcing. Congressional investigators have questioned whether goods sold through ultra-fast marketplaces are adequately screened for forced labor risks. A 2023 interim report criticized Temu's supplier assurances as boilerplate. Allegations aren't the same as proof, but any credible governance gap here is an ethical and regulatory time bomb. Sustainability and quality. Ultra-low prices create ultra-fast turnover. Critics argue it encourages disposable consumption and a river of returns. Even when the pull model reduces overproduction, the system still relies on massive volumes and cheap unit economics, raising questions about lifespan, recycling, and end-of-life waste. Shine's micro-batch model reduces some waste, but doesn't erase the volume problem. Policy shock. De minimis is dead. And now the biggest structural shift. The US ended the under $800 de minimis exemption in late August 2025. That change targets the exact logistics model Temu used to keep prices rock bottom. Result: more duties, more delays, higher compliance costs. Exactly the friction Temu's model was built to avoid. The company will adapt: forward warehousing, regionalization, Mexico routes. But some of the magic price points may fade. What Temu really changes: price and your price anchors. Let's zoom out. Temu doesn't just discount products, it discounts psychology. When you see a blender for $9 or earrings for 89 cents, your brain resets the reasonable price for everything in that category. Suddenly, $29 at Target feels inflated. That anchoring effect radiates across the market, pressuring legacy retailers to match prices they structurally can't because they maintain stores, US labor, and local inventory. This is the stealth disruption, perception arbitrage. Temu reframes value so dramatically that competing offers look overpriced, even if they come with faster delivery, better warranties, or higher quality. That's how an app can move an entire market, by moving your expectations. What happens next? Scenario A, the machine regionalizes. To offset tariffs and political risk, Temu builds more forward inventory in North America and Europe, uses regional 3PLs, and nudges sellers to stock locally on consignment. You'll get some items in 2 to 4 days, others in 8 to 12. Prices tick up a bit, but the app leans even harder on gamified subsidies to keep checkout totals low. We're already seeing experiments with US forward warehouses and toggling of direct from China listings. Scenario B, policy arms race. As regulators tighten rules on data, product safety, and imports, compliance becomes a cost center. In Europe, DSA enforcement could reshape recommender systems and product listing QC. In the US, state data suits proceed in parallel with federal scrutiny. Temu counters with data localization partners and content moderation upgrades, costs that get priced into the cart. Scenario C, the template spreads. Every retailer wants the pull model now. Expect more micro-batch testing, real-time forecasting, and gamified front ends, even at US retailers. The line between shopping and playing will blur further as everyone chases Temu-level engagement. How to shop smart in a Temu world, price not equal to value. Ask, will this last? What's the warranty? What's the return friction? Time is a cost. If waiting 10 days saves $20, great, until you urgently need the item in 48 hours. Watch the anchor. Seeing 89 cents can make everything else feel expensive. Pause, compare. Data is currency. Free coupons are rarely free. They pay for themselves with your behavior data. Temu's real innovation isn't just low prices. It's a feedback loop that connects your behavior to a factory floor, then wraps the whole thing in a casino of coupons and confetti. That loop reprograms what we think things should cost. The question now isn't whether regulators or tariffs can slow it down. It's whether the rest of retail is ready to play Temu's game, or forced to. If you learned something, hit subscribe.